Hey, lovely people, Tempest here. Thanks so much for taking a moment to stop by. I am currently standing in my home office and it's a disaster. So today's video is going to be a clean with me video. Before I get started, I'm just gonna do a little tour of the space so that you can see what I'm working with, and then just hang out with me for a little while to check out a couple of organization ideas and see how I get this thing in tip-top shape. All right, so we have this desk in the middle of the space. It was thrifted and it served its purpose for us to use it. This space in our fixer is actually the dining room, or originally designed to be the dining room, but we did something different and we made it into our home office. Ignore the paint on the painter's tape on the floor, because I'm marking that off for a new desk. So stay tuned for that video. Don't know what all this mess over here is. Just stuff that I need to deal with. This is a disaster. Stuff over there all over the place. That date, that's not right. Plants over there, trying to hang on for dear life, but it's not working. And then stuff here on the desk. So first things first. Oh, I forgot that I have those bookshelves there, and I have another one on the other side that you'll see in a minute. I am going to get started with the file cabinet. We have not maximized our storage there. So I put in an order for these file folders and hanging folders. So I'm gonna try to get some organization done with that first, because it is very possible that as I attack whatever is happening over here and over on those bookshelves, I'm gonna find that some of the things need to be tucked away into that file cabinet. So my tip for you would be get started with the paper first. For me, this meant that I had to get everything out of the file cabinet. For some insane reason, we were just stuffing things in there instead of using it the way that it was designed. So I get everything out, I get it cleaned, and then I focus on making sure that I have a system in place using the hanging file folders and the manila folders. So initially, when I started to put these in, I grouped them by color, thinking that I could use a color-coded system. It didn't actually end up working out that way, and I think that my filing was more so impacted by the items that I was finding. Now, hopefully your paper isn't as terrible as mine was, but I literally had to go through these stacks piece by piece and sort them. And I started to group like materials together. So anything related to our mortgage ended up in a stack. Anything related to bank accounts or taxes ended up in its own stack. But I was also working on building a stack for things that could be shredded. Throughout the process, I conferred with my husband about whether or not we still needed anything like documentation from old insurance policies. We don't work with that or have business with that company anymore. We don't need that documentation. So those types of things can be shredded. From there, I started labeling the manila folders as I was creating the categories as I went along. Now, for some of you, you might be watching this and you might be a little bit more type A than I am, and you want to have a hardcore system. I can't offer that for you right now because I literally just wanted to create groups of papers and then get them organized in the file cabinet. We ended up with a household section. We ended up with a professional section. So we had like job documents in there. And then of course we have important documents like life insurance policy information, those types of things. In the household section, we have stuff that we're keeping, such as warranties, information about our appliances, should anything happen to those. The dogs have a folder with information from their vets. So you really just have to figure out what your groupings are and go from there. Okay, it took me forever just to get through the first drawer. So I'm going to show you the first drawer and then show you the second drawer and do it all over again before I move on to any other portion of the office. All right, so files are in here labeled, right? This is what the other drawer, Zoe, say hi. So I need to get all of this out on the floor in piles and do the same thing. Create a shred pile and a trash pile. All right, so earlier you saw me show those really long documents, like legal size papers, like how do you file those if they don't fit in your typical file cabinet. So my husband suggested that I do this. These are just closing documents. And then the same thing with our tax paperwork. Our CPA gives us all of our documents and keeps it organized via these gold envelopes. It's just easier to keep them in there. Should something happen, we know we can go back to that exact year and all the documents will be in the same place. So they're kind of stuffed in here. Not ideal, but I put them in the bottom drawer so that opening and closing and kind of going through this top drawer will be significantly easier. So this is going to get shredded. This is all trash here. I have no idea where I'm going to go next. I think I'm going to come to this cube storage here and some of these craft supplies. So I got this little thing in order from Michael's. It was $30. And I've seen a lot of people, I'll put the link in the description, but I've seen a lot of people use these for makeup, which is pretty brilliant. I'm gonna use it for some of my craft supplies. So as I pull stuff out of here, I know that I have some craft supplies in those cubes and then in these bags on the floor. I am going to kind of work on the organization in tandem. For the cubes, essentially what we're going for though, which would be my second tip for you, is macro organization. And we do this already where we just kind of group like things together. So I have no idea what's in here. More paper. Some tech stuff, some office supplies. So I'm gonna keep this system as is. I'm just gonna dig through it. Like I said, things that go in this cart will get moved over, and then just try to make sure that I know where different things are going in the cubes themselves. So when I say macro organization, I mean just grouping like things together. We do this with our dishes and our glasses in the kitchen, our toiletries in the bathroom. I'm putting all paper in this cube. It was empty when I pull it out. So reams of paper. Later on, I have like specialty paper that I'll also put in there. But it was in that moment that I realized that that cube was still filled with other things I had to sort through. And you can see that I just skipped on ahead and moved over to a completely separate cube. But what you notice is that I'm doing a lot of bouncing around to create a system where these cubes start to house like information, and nothing involved or nothing found in that cube feels out of place or disconnected to the items that they share that home with. Those containers, or the one that you can partially see me holding, is just a plastic container that I got from Dollar Tree, and I am working on one of my cubes that has office supplies in it. So I'm actually going to put pencils and pens and such in that box, and then it'll be inside the cube that's holding all of the office supplies, from push pins to paper clips to staples, you name it, it'll be in that cube. I'm done with this for the most part. So it still looks messy, but macro organization says that you just keep like things together. So these are all electronics, paper for the printer, office supplies. This is just some of my documents that I use for workshops that I do. So all that stuff is together. And then these are other office supplies, but paper products. So notebook paper, folders, legal pads, things like that. Now it's time for me to tackle whatever this disaster here ended up being. A combination of art supplies, keepsakes, and Christmas decorations. Yes, those flowers are for Christmas. It is April. What is happening? A lot of tackling this section did involve the arts and crafts, so I am grateful that I had that drawer set on hand so that I could create a defined place for them to go. But then a lot of other things just did not belong in the office space, so I had to get them moved out to the hallway where they could go up in the attic, or some items that just needed to be moved to the dining room or the bedroom, because again, the reason they were in the office made no sense to begin with. As you can see, I did finish with the drawer storage, but I found a piece of bubble wrap, and the mere fact that I'm holding it means that your girl was officially stressed in this moment, actively popping the bubble wrap and trying to figure out where to go next. I leave, but I eventually come back and focus on getting the desk cleaned off so that I can call it a night. Yes, this clean with me or clean the office video took 2 days. Okay, so in terms of progress, I'm not completely done. I still need to work on these bookshelves because they're in bad shape as well. But it is also 1 a.m, so I'm going to bed. Let's just take a quick recap at what I have completed, and then I'll jump back on and get it finished tomorrow. The bag behind the shredder is all the stuff that I have to shred. This is pretty much done. A couple other things need to be shuffled around once I'm done with the bookshelves, including those magazines. This is the trash. I got the utility cart pretty much taken care of, and I just need to get these things put into a new location and take care of those things on top, also bookshelf related. I'm creating this box because these are things that need to go to my office whenever I get a chance to actually go back there. So let me show you the bookshelves real quick so you'll know what we're working with during the next part of this video. Just stuff. I'm actually gonna put my camera equipment in one of the bins. I have that open slot down on the cube there. All that stuff in the middle has to go back to my office, so that's gonna go in a box, and I'm just gonna get this other stuff sorted. The other bookshelf is pretty similar to this. All right, peeps, good night. I have watched quite a few Clean With Me videos, and I don't know how y'all do it in one sitting. I wasn't built for this, but stay tuned for the final look because that's going to be really important when you see how we transform it completely. So in terms of my third tip, I am making the decision to organize my bookshelf thematically. So just again, similar to macro organization, just keeping similar books together. On this top shelf, I'm actually working with textbooks or like my instructor copies and some of my research readings that I need for my work. That paper was going to be the death of me. This was from the bookshelves. That, my friends, is the sign of progress. I got one full bag of waste taken out, and now I am moving those 3 items that were along the wall. They're gonna have to go to my car so that they are ready to go back to the office whenever I'm cleared to do so. My camera equipment got put in that box, so it's getting added to the cube storage there, and I'm trying to get wrapped up. Yes, I had my plants sitting on a TV table, like, TV dinner tray table, because I had just been too lazy to buy a plant stand. Well, that table has to go because it's not working in the space anymore. Here, I am going to get some dusting done. As I was working on the bookshelves, I did clean them off each shelf as I went along with the pledge as well. But now I just have my dust one and I'm getting the top of them cleaned. Now it's time to tackle that bag from the day before when I was getting rid of all of the papers. I am going to shred for what I remember feeling like hours. Once I got through the shredding, I moved on to the floors. That's my Dyson vacuum for the first step, and then the Bissell steam mop for the second. Taking a quick second here just to show you our Dyson vacuum cleaner. It is the V10 Cyclone. We ordered it directly from Dyson and got all of these extra attachments and pieces. So check the manufacturer directly instead of the retailers. Now, one of the other tips that I wanted to offer in this Clean With Me organizing video is my Kanban board. And if you are familiar with Trello, which is kind of like an online cork board type of system, it's really designed for project management to help you organize and kind of see the start of a project to the finish line of said project. Well, Kanban board is very similar to that. It doesn't necessarily have to be electronic. I tried Trello, it didn't work for me. I am a touchy-feely paper pen kind of person. And so I have mine set up to reflect the work that I do via research for academia, since that's my daytime work. And I essentially have projects that are in the beginning, and then when I get this one out of idea stage, it will move to data, move to analysis, and move across the board there until it is officially accepted. All right, lovely people, I'm gonna try to just do a quick pan of the room here. Obviously that pillow won't stay there, that lamp won't stay on top of the cart. So once we move into reorganizing or redesigning the space with the new desk and everything and the new layout that we're gonna use, all of these things will definitely move. So haven't really touched much in terms of my husband's workspace. The cords are messy, but again, we'll attend to that. But in terms of the bookshelf, personal items, children's books are stacked there for my niece. Other reads, those are like my biblical Christian reads there. Those are some academic texts and awards. And so the tip for bookshelves that I will offer is try to organize them thematically so that it's easy for you to find things. So here's the other one. The other thing is that the stuff at the bottom is probably what we rummage through least. This is empty because I got some arts and crafts out of there, but let's be real, you know I'm gonna get more stuff. And these magazine holders I showed you are magazines that I use for that work. And those came from the Dollar Tree. They do exactly what I need them to do, so no reason to have any expensive ones. Have some cookbooks here because when you go through this door, this pocket door, you actually enter the kitchen. These are some keepsake works that I want to, like the New York Times 1619 edition, some journaling, other like work related text. Can't let this go because it was a Mother's Day card from my puppies. My sisters did it and it is just the sweetest card ever. So I have to keep that there. Well, there you have it, folks. I am done. I'm exhausted. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I would love to know in the comments in terms of the things that I highlighted in this video, starting with papers and getting your files organized, doing your bookshelf thematically, the Kanban board, the other tips that I offered. Hopefully they were helpful. If you have other tips for me, I would love to hear those as well. One thing that I learned about a clean with me video is that it keeps you honest, right? So I started this thing and I had to finish it, even though it took me 2 days. And so maybe I'll do more clean with me videos because there are definitely some other areas in the house that could get the same level of attention. And I feel better now that I'm done, right? I'm exhausted, but I definitely feel better. So do me a favor and like this video, comment, subscribe to the channel, but also be sure that you come back because it's not gonna look the same the next time that you see it. You want a sneak peek? I'll show you the desk. Right now, it's just hanging out in the foyer living room space, but we're gonna get it moved in. So like I said, come back and see how we rearrange it a bit.